online. Betcha I made it. Sup.
Hey, village, how's it going?
Looks like a beautiful day.
Oh, it is. It is. It was kind of iffy this morning. I went outside on my coffee break and it almost felt like rain. Problem with all this nice weather we've been having is they're already talking about drought and water restrictions, and it's mid-May. A little bit windy. Actually, I shouldn't say a little bit. It's actually pretty windy.
How's the bike working out? My dad went the same route. Got rid of most of his bikes. Got it.
The bike is awesome. The bike is awesome. I rode most of my, actually I shouldn't say most, I rode all my road events last year on my other cross bike. Like my road bike came off the trainer maybe 4 times since 2020. But the checkpoint's kind of like an in-between. It's not full slacked out gravel. So, it's longer than a road bike. It's got longer chainstays and an overall wheelbase. As far as handling goes, haven't really been like, oh my goodness.
I was checking it out. Looks really versatile.
It definitely has, if you want to ever get into bike packing, it has more mount locations than any bike I've ever seen. Like, they're everywhere. You don't notice. Unless maybe I was in a time trial, I would go, oh yeah, the Venge is faster, but I'm rocking 40s for tires, and they roll pretty smooth. And I got decently deep aero wheels. So really, for most of my riding around, I have no clue. I feel this bike is just as quick. But with the bigger tires, it's way more comfortable. The ISO speed thing on the seat post works fantastic.
Hell yeah. Plus nowadays they are saying wider tires really are at a disadvantage in speed.
Well, funny, like I was on that bicycle rolling resistance website, and these Schwalbe size 40 tires the wattage is almost the same as GP5000s in 32s. Like it's like they use, 4 or 5 more watts. That's it. Yeah, 32s for road is the norm now. Like that's like the standard. Of all the tests I've read, 32s are like no detriment to speed and sometimes even faster. I think for a lot of times there just wasn't the testing procedures put in place. And it was always just, oh, you want narrow tires and you want your narrow tires as hard as you possibly could get. Hey, Katie. And now they're realizing that super hard-assed tires are not really especially gravel. Bouncing around on hard tires and gravel is not fast. I mean, if I was doing a road event as well, I really wanted to, I could just swap on some road tires. I've actually been lowering the air pressure on these tires every couple rides, trying to find the sweet spot. I was using the Silk tire pressure calculator.
One my dad got has a 105 on it.
Yeah, I mean 105 is like the standard. But it's funny, other than commuting though, I've actually been doing more gravel riding than road riding. I mean, I'm riding on the road to get to the gravel, but got a gravel event this Sunday, 77 kilometers.
Gravel bikes. I am 5 minutes away from 100 kilometers of Trans-Canada and railroad trails. Although I could use my domain. Hi Zab and chat.
Hey Scott.
Scott.
Well, that's like the thing is most modern road bikes as well, you can fit decent sized tires. When I was looking at buying a new bike, I almost thought about getting a new Roubaix, but the tires just, yeah, like 38s. I rode on 38s for the last 2 years. I mean, some trails, some gravel, it's not the most comfortable, but it's manageable. It seems to be the sweet spot is 42. The tires that I'm running are 40. I would have preferred 42s, but they didn't have a 42. They only had 40 or 45. And 45 is a big jump. It's a big jump. My buddy rides 47s and they look like monster tires. And so I still ride on the road a lot. So I didn't want to go crazy assed and go to 45s or 47s. But man, he runs his 47s at like 20 psi. He freaking just glides over everything. To say I love fresh wax chains. My drivetrain is freaking silent. Oh, someone's car has burning brakes.
I had a question about that. After the first time stripping a chain and waxing it, do I need to degrease again or just put it in hot water to wash?
No, if it's already been waxed and degreased and you've already waxed it, I just kind of like blow it off with like, most of the time I don't even do anything. You just put it in the damn wax, right in the new wax. Or right into just get it in there. Once it's been waxed, you just freaking dip it. I mean, you can kind of wipe it down, or if you have an air compressor, give it a little blow. But when you dip it again, all the wax that's actually on the chain is just gonna like fall off and melt. And if there actually is dirt, it's just gonna fall to the bottom.
Yeah, I got caught in the rain, but a little bit over the weekend.
So re-waxing chains takes no time at all. I actually bought a really cheap ultrasonic cleaner from Amazon, and I put wax in that, and I've done that twice now. Can't really tell if it's better, but my brain says it's better. Because the chains, they sit in the little mesh basket, and the ultrasonic thing just ultrasonic blasts melted wax everywhere. That's the main problem with wax chains. It's getting the grease off the first time. Once they've been waxed, it's fast. Like I always do 3 chains, and then as the wax comes off with the quick link, I'll just swap a new chain on every couple hundred kilometers, and then when all 3 of them are pretty much toast on a weekend, I'll fire up the wax pot, re-dip them, and boom, 3 new chains ready to go again. Yeah, I don't even use an additional wax or any sort of drip. I'm pretty sure the Silka drip wax is actual wax in like a carrier fluid, and the carrier fluid goes away, but I don't even bother. Like with having, that's the sort of the benefit of having 3 wax chains. If one chain gets to the point where I'm like, maybe I should add lube to it, it's like, nope, off the bike. Fresh chain gone. Quick link, I can change a chain faster than you can like add lube to a chain. Yeah, you know what? Especially with wax, because what happens is the wax gets on the pin, and you kind of have to put the quick link pin in, and you gotta work it a little bit and get some of the wax to come off, because the tolerances are so tight that the wax takes up the tolerance, and it becomes a pain. I've done it so much now that I don't even think about it. Like if I timed myself, I could probably take a chain off and put a new one on in under 30 seconds without actually trying to do it in under 30 seconds. Is a weird squeak somewhere though. I'm hoping it's the pedals, and when I change the pedals, the squeak will go away. Well, and with all Silka's new products, they've taken away the pain in the ass part of waxing a chain. Like waxing a chain used to be the biggest pain in the ass trying to get the degreaser or the grease off of the stock chain. That used to be an entire weekend adventure with chemicals, buying chemicals that you don't really want to be touching, soaking the chain, then I know, actually it's funny, I bought that ultrasonic cleaner. Same thing, like a few days before, and I was like, damn it. I may actually still buy the Silka thing and turn the ultrasonic cleaner back into an ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, I bought some of that Silka chain stripper, and I cannot believe how well it worked. Like I was saying, it used to be an all weekend thing. It would go in the methyl hydrate and it would soak, and then I would take the chain out and I would clean it with a brush, and then I would have denatured alcohol, and then I would go back to that and the chain would still feel sticky, so I'd soak it again, and it would be all weekend, every half an hour going out in the garage, back and forth. And then I bought a bottle of that crap, and at first I was like, man, this stuff is expensive, but the amount that you use was tiny. And boom, one application in a jar, soaking with about 1 ounce of that stuff, chain spotless, bare metal, unbelievable. But now they got that strip chip thing where you don't even need to degrease your chain. You put the chain in with the damn strip chip, done. Stripped and waxed, all in one go. But I heard that strip chip, it needs a certain temperature to actually work and do its chemistry magic. And that's where the Silka chain waxer comes in, because it apparently hits that temperature. I'm a pretty big fan.
Now that's the one thing I was told to watch out for. I hear TH wax also has a low ignition point.
Yeah, see, my ultrasonic cleaner, it only goes to 80 degrees Celsius. Like, it's enough to melt the wax. I don't know though. See, I had a little crock pot that got smoking hot, and I never tested the temperature, and I would just put the wax in there, crank it on high, and then I was good to go. But yeah, you definitely kind of got to be careful. Like, it's not something you leave very unattended. Blow up with molten wax everywhere. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of Silka products. I don't think I've bought anything.
The opposite. The first time I let it cool down too much and I just had gobs of
Oh.
wax on my chain.
Yeah, I tried to experiment with getting the wax to a cooler temperature, and that's exactly what happens. Because I was like, so when you have the wax smoking hot, it's very liquidy. It's like water. And so when you pull a chain out, a lot of the wax drips off. And I thought, well, am I losing wax from inside the rollers by pulling the chain out? So what I did was, I dipped the chain, turned the crock pot off, and kind of waited till it got cooler to pull the chain out. And one chain I waited too long, and it was just like a block of like, you could barely tell it was a chain. It had a 1/4 inch of wax all over it. And the other chain that I pulled out, I don't know if I noticed a difference. Maybe, like, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, the tutorials I saw, you wanted to wear the top of the wax loop is starting to flake a little.
Yes. That's why I thought the ultrasonic cleaner would do a kick-ass job, because when it's the ultrasonic part is going, it's driving all the wax into every single little spot. But then again, who knows if it's a difference? Like, when you ride a bike, the conditions vary so much. Like, did my ultrasonic chain, did I get an extra 30, 40 kilometers before it became noisy? I don't know. Maybe. You know, like, then is 30, 40 kilometers per chain wax, is that even worth it? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's worth it. And then it doesn't really matter if it lasts longer. I mean, re-waxing a chain is super fast. Oh, jeez. Fucking scared the crap out of me.
Hello.
Hey, Pookie. I was just staring off into the distance, thinking about chain wax, and you burst in here with air horns. Hey.
What a wind, eh?
It is windy.
Hey.
All understandable. No chain wax. Forbidden chocolate. I daydream about chain wax too.
Well, the only good thing about going into this headwind is I get to turn around in 10 minutes. So when's your big ass ride, Pookie? Is that coming up soon? How's your new bike?
Just over 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Holy shit. That's soon. Do you feel prepared? Are you at the point where it's like, oh crap, it's 2 weeks? Or you're like, yeah, it's 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks out, there's nothing you can really do about anything about it. Like, you can't be like, oh, I gotta like cram in some training. Like, no, you're done.
Now I fix the brake rub.
Oh, I love disc brakes and I hate disc brakes. Has anyone had any luck using the squeeze method?
But it is at this point.
I have never, ever, ever had the loosen the caliper, squeeze the brake lever work, ever, on any disc brake. I always end up sort of manually correcting the caliper slightly. I even bought those little metal shims that go between the rotor and the pads.
Usually that method works for me.
Well, you're a jerk then if it works. This never works for me. Maybe it's worked once. One time. But I do have to say though, the SRAM brakes on this bike are better as far as like not rubbing than the GRX brakes I had on my other cross bike. I found the GRX brakes on long descents, or if you hit the brakes hard.
I hate that sound. Reminds me of Neo City or whatever it is called in Swift.
Yeah. So what would happen is if you cranked the brakes hard, and then when you released them, it always was like ching, 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 and you had to kind of like pump the brakes a few times to get the pads to reset. I've never had that happen on these SRAM brakes. Oh, yard maintenance in the bike lane.
I have a little bit rough, but I can't tell if it's bad enough you weren't trying to fix it.
Well, I just don't understand how they can't make a caliper or just even like a brake lever that pushes more fluid right away, so you could put the brake pads farther away from the damn rotor. I mean, hydraulic disc brakes are crazy powerful. They don't need to have, like if you have you're still not gonna have hard to pull lever if you have a bigger piston. Has anyone got awesome long weekend plans? Is it a long weekend in the US? Or is that just Canada?
I can tell you now I'll be waxing 1 or 2 chains. Ours is next week, I think. Just Canada, I think.
Yeah, actually, wax chain, it's funny how many of those chain waxers that Silka probably sold, because there is a email wait list to get one. Oh yeah, tailwind.
They have good marketing, that's for sure.
Yeah, oh for sure, yeah, totally. Well, there's some stuff that they ask a premium for, and you kind of suspect on why they're asking a premium, but I found most Silka products, they're pricey, but like I said before, I haven't gotten anything from them that I've been disappointed with.
I have their wax, socks, and grip wax. No complaints. Yeah, there's
Oh, short socks. I have a drawer full of short cycling socks that I should probably just retire and get rid of because I'm never going to wear them because they're like short. I much prefer the fad now of socks that are like halfway up your calf. So how long do you think this ride's gonna take you, Pookie? What is it, 200 miles? That's freaking long. 200 miles. That's way too long.
Yeah, hopefully I can do it around 15.
That's a long time to be on a bike. I'm signed up for BWR in September, and that's 220K. And I'm hoping that I get 12 hours. I'd like to do under 12. Here's a really good example of weight difference on a bike.
That one has a lot of climbing though, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3,000 meters in 220K of, but it's 50-50 road and gravel, so you do get some reprieve. But yeah, it's a lot of climbing. Lots. I did the 110 last year, and the 110 was about 2,100. So the 220K is it's twice the distance, but it's only about,
So not much less climbing than Unbound, but Unbound is another 105 kilometers.
yeah. Elevation is what kills you. That is the killer. I did a 96K, the Cowichan Crusher, and it was 96K and about 1,400 meters, and I did it in 4 hours and 10 minutes, and I wasn't pushing hard at all. But if I got to get my fat butt up a lot of mountains, I end up going really, really, really slow. So here's a good funny thing. So I was like Strava stalking Peter. A bunch of you who race on Zwift probably know Peter Moog from OMG. And Peter is a very small dude. He's light, very light. Him and I had about the same, so first of all, he did the 220 and I only did the 110. So he gets props for doing twice the distance. Our average wattage, I had a 10 watt higher average wattage than he did. His average speed was almost 9 kilometers an hour faster than me. 9 at the same wattage. Like, what the freak? I was like, man, my average was like 17.8 with all the hills, and his average speed was like 26.5. And I think it was like my average wattage was 187 and his was like 180 or like 178. And I look at that and just go, holy shit. Like, because I've been trying to work up to, you know, trying to ride all my gravel rides at over 20K an hour. Like, if you can do a 20K an hour average, the math is easy to figure out how long it's going to take you. BWR has, I think, a 13-hour cutoff. But a 20 kilometer an hour will be, 11 hours. See, Cowichan Crusher, I averaged, I think, just over 23. And I felt pretty good. And I probably actually could have kept on going quite easily. Gonna take a lot of camera footage of that ride, Pookie. Yeah, that's a lot of... I was thinking about that. I was watching footage of that Insta360, the X4, the new one that came out. And I thought, man, that would be easy. You just leave that running the entire ride. But then editing would probably take forever. But it would just be amazing to capture every angle. Like, for example, I'm streaming right now, but this dude on a Pinarello pulled up beside me on the bike path and was like complaining about the wind. So if I had a 360 cam, I could have totally have just been like pan over to him, while he's riding beside me, and then pan back. It'd be super cool. So that the mouth mount works well because you can kind of aim it better, but you look weird with it. Someone pulls up beside you and you're like, they're talking to you and you got this camera in your mouth. They're like, what the hell is this guy doing? I think the wind changed direction. Don't feel that I have a tailwind anymore. I have a couple buddies that I raced ZRL with that I've done unbound. And their times were like stupid. And I just can't imagine being on a bike that long. Some people are made for that though. That's the thing, is I got buddies that don't even think twice. It's funny when you look at them, you're like, this dude's not in shape, and they're not fast on the bike at all, but they pull out 200K rides like nothing at decent speeds too. I think I'm slowly turning my body into doing better at distance. For too many years, I concentrated on TTs and crits, which I think is more up my body type's alley. But then I really enjoy doing long rides, but you suffer. Is that car gonna stop? Yes. Does anyone here have a 3D printer? Jeez, Dimitri. Guys are timing those air horns. Yeah, it works. It works. Well, how was your day, Dimitri? Did you get outside? Is the weather good?
Weather seem okay. Been unmotivated this month though, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the beauty of riding to work is you're motivated to get home no matter how you feel, whether you want to ride your bike or not. Because in the morning, going to work, I'm usually very motivated to ride my bike. But by the end of the day, I'm kind of like, man, I wouldn't mind just getting home really fast. I did ride extra today though. The weather's beautiful. This is about, well, if the wind was a little bit less, because this temperature is fantastic. It's right on the line of warm enough to be in a t-shirt, but not warm enough to be sweaty. Hey, Spoon. How you doing?
Biking is hard.
Like,
Feeling good overall.
that's good. How's the training been going? When's the next big event? Or are you done? You've been like, I did Ironman, I'm out. That's a little ways away.
Rob wants to another full for a while.
Well, it's expensive doing those. I've only been doing gravel races, and those are expensive, and they're actually not really that expensive.
Also, they are horrible.
Yeah. See, the gravel races I've been doing, I haven't really been racing. I've just been using them as an excuse to get outside and ride a nice course. So I haven't been pushing. But yeah, if you're having to push, I think Ironmans and triathlons are an addiction. No one actually likes doing them, but once you start doing them, you can't stop.
Pulls are just an entire day of, when is this over?
Yeah. Looking at your watch going, I've only gone this far.
Triathlons with full distances are just stupid.
Well, yeah, because like a normal triathlon, the bike, that's only like a 40K bike and a 10K run. Like, that's actually not bad. 40K on a TT bike, you could go pretty damn fast.
Yeah, I'm thinking about switching to mostly Olympic distance. Anything higher just requires too much training.
Well, depending on the course, a 40K TT, you could probably, if you were on an actual like TT bike, you could do under an hour or close to an hour.
It's like a beautiful day up there.
Oh, it is beautiful. A little windy, but the temperature's perfect. You forget about wind when you ride indoors so much. So they were filming a TV show here a few days ago, and the TV show, the filming location was supposed to represent Seattle. I thought was kind of funny that they were filming, a few hours away from Seattle in Canada, but it's supposed to be Seattle.
Probably tax reasons.
Totally. Well, and the dollar is like $1.30. So $1 million US is like 1.3 million Canadian. So your film budget goes 30% farther. But they had a bunch of like broken down cars with Washington plates and a tank. They had a tank down there. What?
Sounds like normal Seattle.
Yeah, yeah. Broke down cars and tanks. Well, there was a, what is this person doing? You totally have like the right of way. There was a joke that, because they were trying to make the street look post-apocalyptic, and there's a joke here that downtown already looks post-apocalyptic with all the crackheads and homeless people. Seattle's probably the same, the same thing. You don't need to hire zombies.
Yep, LMAO just still on third and Pine.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of zombies there 24/7.
I was pretty impressed. I went down there when they, like, I can't believe how awesome it looked. And then you realize how expensive it is to make TV shows, because they had an entire crew working for weeks to transform the street. And I bet it was probably going to be in the TV show for like 2 minutes. You know, 3 weeks of setting up and 2 days of filming. Yeah, there was one. Surprised there's only been one. Oh, here's the whole horde of zombies. The hell is it so busy here? What is going on? I've never seen more than one car at that intersection. Oh, glass. Holy fuck. That was almost a T-bone. The hell is that guy in the white truck thinking? Oh man, the wind. Jeez. Ride goes good. Almost home. I was at the point about 20 minutes ago where I was like, man, I could ride forever. And then just got really tired. Hey, you too, Dimitri.